Soldiers like these in the Royal Regiment of Fusiliers patrol this border for 4 months at a time. And they know, better than anyone else, that they're operating in bandit country.
During what passes as a ceasefire down here, 9 soldiers have been killed. But I've discovered 1 or 2 other things while I've been down here with them. They're not disillusioned with the job they're doing here. They don't think that their hands are tied behind their backs, and they're well aware that good humor and patience and solid routine patrolling is just as important as the ability to put down heavy firepower.
They patrol on foot and move by air, coming in low and fast to random points along the border. They're young, mostly under 20, and very fit, and they're quite happy with the firepower they can produce. The smallest unit is 4 men. That's for manning observation posts. Bigger patrols, like this one, drop into isolated fields and then move out through rugged country. Here, we're only 300 meters from the border. Not everyone's totally hostile. When 3 Fusiliers were killed last month, one passing woman said she would pray for them in church, another gave some money for flowers. So stamping around unnecessarily with heavy boots and big guns would, they say, set them back a long way in their efforts to keep the peace. They have to watch 50 crossings in 40 miles of land border, and there's 10 miles of sea border as well. This is patrolled by Royal Marine Commandos. They use fast patrol boats capable of 40 knots. A lot of shipping uses the Carlingford Loch, with Warren Point on the northern side growing steadily as a container port. The security forces here maintain that a lot of the violence comes from directly across the border, from positions inside the Republic, from over there in the hills on the other side.
The firepower and impressive machinery of the British Army is not matched by the Irish Army here on the Republican side. Some of them will tell you it's not even necessary. The Irish government's fast building up its troop force along the border, building new barracks at Monaghan, but its present security force are small patrols like these. The men do not pretend to be able to do anything except provide a token military presence, something in itself both the Irish and British governments think is worth the trouble and expense. But really, the IRA terrorists seem to have it all their own way. Normally, these patrols can only be called out in response to a police request, and given the 20 minutes it takes to go from here to, say, the border at Fork Hill, would take a very slow or very lazy gunman to get caught. This battalion patrols 123 miles of border. How many men would it take to effectively secure the 170 border crossings? More than the Irish Army has.
On this patrol this morning, there are 4 times when you can open fire. First, in defence of your own life. Second, in defence of your comrades' lives. Third, to prevent yourself being forcibly disarmed. And 4th, on my orders. Now, we'll have those again. Number 1.
In defence of me only, sir.
Number 2.
Defence of our comrades' lives, sir.
3.
On your orders, sir.
In defence of being forcibly disarmed, sir.
The more frequently I visit this border from either side, the less I understand what is meant by border security. It's quite possible, for example, to travel half a day backwards and forwards here and never see a uniform. And the Irish Army, like the British on the other side, can't all be hiding in the hedgerows. In fairness, it is difficult for a non-military observer to gauge how effective these patrols are, noisy and cumbersome, but it's hard to imagine anyone being taken by surprise. The ease of movement this countryside provides the terrorists is best exampled by this border roadblock. Tons of cement planted here by the British Army a month ago. The provos blew it apart and traffic now passes. But by far, the most surprising discovery we made was confirmation that absolutely no cooperation exists here between the Irish and the British troops on the ground.
Really effective. You make a lot of noise. You can't bang on the border, and the British Army, we hope, is just the other side. At any one time. Do you have much physical contact with them?
We have no contact with them at all.
How about radio contact?
No radio contact either. We have no contact in any way with the British Army.
Well, how do you know what they're doing?
Well, unless in fact we physically see them, or we get some information from either our own civic guards or some local people in the area, we really don't know what they're doing.
So they could be the other side of this border here, and you wouldn't know what they were up to.
Well, at this stage, they could be, in fact, and they possibly have us on their view, but we would not know what they're doing, no.
So we have a situation here on the border where 2 friendly armies fighting a common enemy may not, by law, coordinate with each other, may not, by law, even talk to each other.
As Hamill reported, British troops would like to see the beginning of some cooperation, but the Irish officers I spoke to thought that such a move would create greater problems militarily as well as the obvious political ones. We are content, one said, with the present arrangement. But it's hard to see how content anyone can be with a system that tends to give the advantage of this war to gunmen who do not loiter after their killings.